Hey, what's up guys, it's Theyo for Final Concept. So the Nikon Z5 is the most affordable full frame camera to get from Nikon at the moment, but does the price justify the performance? Well, let's find out. Thanks to Duse for lending me this camera to review. I'll have his YouTube channel linked down in the description below. It's going to be the first link, so be sure to check it out. Now, if you've ever watched my review of the Nikon Z6, you'll notice that there's some form of significant similarities between this and that. I did say in that video that the Nikon Z6 was the best full frame for beginners, but I might as well just change my mind. For the design, up top is the shooting dial along with the record and ISO button. We also get the speaker grill almost hidden in there. The front shows the screen and most of the regular buttons and controls that you would typically see on most cameras. I love the fact that you can easily switch between photo and video without using the mode dial. This is convenient for me. On the left side is the mic input, the headphone jack, the USB Type-C port and the HDMI port, and one other port for external remote control. There are other two function buttons right next to the lens, but I never found myself utilizing this feature. The camera is tough and also feels tough with a magnesium alloy chassis, which is both dust and weather resistant. I know this for sure because a few splashes of rain sometimes during programs doesn't affect us so much. I know the camera looks bulky when you take a look at it this way, but since there's no lens cover at the moment, I just have to use this FTZ mount on it. For that, there's a lens cover. But since this is a slightly new camera from Nikon, it is using the Z mount. So if you have older lenses which are using the F mount, you will need the F to Z adapter. No, F to Z. Yeah. The fortunate thing with this is the adapter works fine with most of the F-mount lenses, keeping their sharpness and autofocus capabilities. But unfortunately, that is something extra you have to purchase if you don't have the money to purchase the lenses from the Z-mount system. Nikon says that this camera is your entry to video since it shoots 4K using all the advantages of mirrorless technology and the Z system's high performance optics. Now that's all fancy to say and hear, but honestly, the 4K at 30 FPS is cool, but it has a 1.7 times crop factor, which may not be ideal to most people, especially if you don't have a wider lens which will capture everything in your frame. So for a typical 1080 video, you get something like this, but when you switch to 4K, it zooms in like this. So if you're someone who has a wider lens or is going to be sitting far back, then you don't have any problem. Shooting 4K will be ideal for you. Fortunately, you can shoot 1080p videos at 60 frames per second and have absolutely no issues. For photos, you can shoot a maximum of 4.5 frames per second. It has a 231 point phase detect autofocus, which works quite impressively. It works well in 4K, but it is phenomenal in 1080p. There's also the animal and human eye detection autofocus, which works well when the subject is a lot closer to the camera. Is it just me, or this sounds quite familiar to what we get on Canon? Say the Canon M50, which you can find more up here or down in the description below, or even the EOS RP. Well, if you don't trust the autofocus on this, or you just want to control what the camera should focus on, then you can switch to manual focus, which comes with focus peaking. So you definitely know when you nail your focus. The camera is also a 24.3 megapixel full frame sensor, which Nikon calls the FX format. And unlike the traditional crop sensor or DX format, the sensor here is a lot bigger. With that combined with the Xpeed 6 image processor, we get better photos and videos even at higher ISO. Speaking of ISO, the Nikon Z5 maxes out at 51,200 ISO. With the amazing work most camera makers are doing with the mirrorless system, shooting at higher ISO is much better. It's not the greatest, but it's better than some older DSLRs in this range. When shooting photos especially, you have the option to use the 3.2 inches touchscreen LCD on the back or the 3.6 OLED electronic viewfinder, which is activated using this button right here. And just like the LCD on the back, you can see and adjust your camera settings like the ISO, the aperture and shutter speed using the viewfinder. And with no magnification on either of the displays, what you see is exactly what you get. The screen provides a bright, clear and vivid image playback and live view when shooting. But the unfortunate thing about the screen for me personally is that it has the tilting mechanism. I mean, it's ideal for shooting low or higher angles and it makes sense in that way, but I feel having the flipper screen is the way to go. For photos, I didn't notice the usual greenish look which comes with most Nikon cameras. Everything I took pictures of looked closely to what I was seeing. For videos, here's how it looks and sounds like in 1080p. Alright, this is the visual quality of the Nikon Z5. It is paired with the Tamron 35mm f1.8 and this is how it looks. Obviously, the audio quality is not going to be very good because I'm a bit farther away from it. And also, I'm pretty sure you're going to be using an external microphone, so that is really not a problem. One more thing, check out the focusing speed. As you can see, it focuses on my hands and it focuses back on my face. One more time, and back on my face. It is not as fast as using the Z6, but it is still good enough for a budget camera. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, how the video quality looks like and the audio quality. Would you consider getting something like this? Let me know in the comments below. The Nikon Z5 has dual SD card slots, both of which supports UHS 2 for fast speed photo and video file saving. I recommend you get an SD card that is at least 95 megabytes read and write speed if you are going to be shooting faster moving subjects or recording at higher resolution. Then finally, powering this entire camera is the Nikon's ENEL15C rechargeable lithium-ion battery, which provides approximately 470 shots per charge. And if a single battery isn't enough for you or the body is a little bit too small for you, you can always get a battery grip extension. So with that, you can use two batteries at the same time or get some extended grip. Likely for streamers, the camera supports charging via USB even when the camera is still in use. So that means this is among a handful of cameras which can be used as a webcam or for video calls right out of the box without having to go through any hacking process. I did notice that the battery has to be this exact type, so it's best to get it from authentic Nikon shops. Other third-party batteries may not always work. So yeah, there are some other advantages of using the Nikon Z5. Some of them include the optical image stabilization or the electronic vibration reduction, fancy words, focus picking in manual mode, and the ability to capture stills while still recording. The ability to shoot photos while still recording videos. Let me put it like that. Although you'll be limited by the video resolution. There's also in-camera time-lapse recording and the whole ease of connectivity via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So for close to 8,000 Ghana cedis, is this one to go for? Well, if you look past the unavailability of a flipper screen, the sort of slower focusing speed, and the additional payment you have to make for the FTZ adapter, then this is definitely one to consider. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and other channels, which I have them linked below. And as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theyo from Final Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.